Your Quran says it's clear guidance, correct?
Yeah.
That it's clear Arabic, yes? But we're identifying in the Quran meaningless words that don't communicate. So what is communicated by the word Allah is appreciative? Tell me what that means.
Can I be happy with you and appreciative because I'm happy with you? Yes or no?
You were created being can, yes.
Sure.
Yes, yes.
God has the same exact thing, but
Same exact thing.
But it's in a way that is not like us. That's it. If he's
So-
happy, his happiness isn't the same as your happiness. Same as your God has his spirit or something.
Did you hear the contradiction in your own words? Did you hear the contradiction in your own
I
words?
said exact.
You said, on one hand, Allah has the same thing in the same exact way, and then you said, but not in the way that we, for us. So is it the same exact way or not?
Allow me to speak. His happiness isn't like our happiness. His anger isn't like our anger. That's how it works.
So what is his happiness?
Your God's spirit isn't the same as
So
your
what
spirit.
happens?
Is your God's spirit the same as your spirit or not?
In the sense that I have a substance?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
In the sense that God has a
So
substance?
you have the same as God.
So I'm going to address that very point. See, I'm not running from the topic and I'm not
Am I?
dancing. Okay, no, not yet, right? So when we say that we have a spirit,
Yes.
what we're saying is that we have a characteristic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the word spirit, when it was talking about the created things, again, it's talking of a substance.
So is your
It's
one
talking
the
of
same
a
as
substance. So let me finish. You can, yeah.
It's just a
So
quick statement.
yeah,
That's it, I'm
exactly,
being quiet.
exactly. It's a substance. When it says that God has a spirit, it's a substance. When the ancients talked about spirit, they thought of it as almost like a material property. So that is how the ancients thought about spirit, bro. I'm educating you now. They thought about it like it was a material property.
Who are
So
the ancients?
the ancients, just Greco-Roman culture, right? So when Scripture is talking into that context, you've got to understand it's men communicating to men by the inspiration of God's Spirit to communicate things about God. In the doctrine of analogy, which is there in Augustine, which is there in Thomas Aquinas, Christians have a belief that words fail. And we understand that, we accept that. But you have to agree with everything the Quran says about itself. And the Quran says it is clear guidance. The Quran says it explains. The Quran says it explains. People in the audience can decide. The Quran says. The Quran says that it is an explanation of all things. The Quran says that it is clear guidance and clear Arabic. So then, when I point out to you that the Quran describes Allah as appreciative, you then fall into a logical contradiction because you say that that word appreciative means something that we must understand, but then anything that I say, well, what do we understand about it? You say, well, it's not that. And that is a problem. So I'll ask you again, what does it mean to say that Allah appreciates what you do? What does that mean?
One thing. I've asked you a question you did not answer, have you, Rob? I said.
I think I did.
Your substance the same as the substance of God?
No.
No. So what is it?
Right. So a substance is a form of being. Let me finish. A form of being. And I'm not going to let you get away with dodging the problem that I've presented to you in the Quran. But a form of being. So that means that I have a form of being. What is that? It is to be a physical body that has a spirit in that body, that has a mortal life, that is dependent upon necessary needs, like food and so on. God has a substance,
What's that?
has an essence, and we say as Christians that essence is unknowable. Yeah. Now hold on one second. Let me finish. Let me finish. No, hold on. That's not the same. That isn't the same. Because I said I have a substance.
Yes.
I said that God has a substance.
I said God is happy.
Right.
Our
Hold on
happiness
one
is the
second.
same as theirs.
But the word happy is the word appreciative is relational.
Relational between a person, yes or no?
Between persons, correct?
Which means if you
Yeah.
feel good,
So now hold on.
God is
Now
happy
answer
for
the
you.
question.
And it's the same thing
No, one
as
second.
Noah.
No,
It's
one
the same thing
second.
as Noah.
When
Noah-
no.
God-
Are you just going to try and talk
Go
over
on,
me?
go on.
So you're saying that Allah is appreciative, but then you're saying that anything you can think or imagine by the word appreciative, it's not that. Is that correct?
No.
So therefore, if you're not saying that, so you can tell me what is being communicated when we say that Allah is appreciative. Tell me what it means.
Same as in your book, when God,
Same.
Noah
Go
was in
on.
his
My
ark-
man-made, man-written book.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
It's cool.
So the Quran is no better than a man-made book. Brilliant.
because I'm
Thank
showing
you. Thank
your
you.
hypocrisy.
Thank you.
Yes, because
Thank you.
You believe in a thing. But
No,
when I
you're still
believe
not
it,
answering
you
my
say,
question.
No.
What does
It's in your book.
appreciative?
Sure.
What does appreciative
Noah,
mean?
When he was inside of his ark, and all the people that haven't joined them, God was very angry. That's the reason why he flooded the entire earth and killed all of them.
Yes.
Was God angry then?
Right. So I'll
Was
go.
God angry, please?
No. Wait. Asking a question when to answer a question is not an answer to the question.
That's my answer.
I asked you a question,
Right.
and you said,
I'm answering with a
one
question.
second, you said that you were not saying that by the word appreciative, it isn't a denial of everything you can think and imagine, which means that we can think or imagine what appreciative means. So now I'm asking
Right.
you
Well,
to explain to me, what does the Quran say when it says that Allah is appreciative?
Right.
What does it mean?
When your God is happy.
Don't ask another question.
No,
Don't
I
talk
am.
about the Bible.
No, because it's the only way
Answer
I
the
can
question.
respond.
We'll come to the Bible next.
You won't come
But
to it
yes,
next.
we will. You
You
know I
won't.
will. You know I will. I don't need to run away from you. I got you beat. Right? So answer the question, bro, about your
Right.
Quran, and then
Sure.
we'll talk about the Bible.
Look,
What does it mean?
My answer is what it was before.
Which
When
is?
God is appreciative, i.e., He is happy with you. When He is happy, it is not like our happiness. He has His own happiness because He is God.
Right.
God, and it's the same thing with yours. When your God was angry, His anger isn't like our anger, is it? When He flooded the earth, when Noah was inside of the ark, His anger is not like our anger. It's godly anger. It's God. He's the one who knows. I'm a Muslim.
Shall I reply?
So yes or no? Yes, please.
Okay. Right. So all you did is replace one garble to
No,
goot.
I did answer it.
No, you didn't. Let me reply.
Sorry, I did.
Let me reply. I didn't interrupt you.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
All you did is replace one garble to goot with another garble to goot. You said appreciative means happy. Okay. But when I ask you what happy means, when the Quran says that Allah is not like anything in His creation, you're then going to tell me that happiness is not like our happiness. So now we've got the same problem again, but now we've just swapped the word appreciative for happy.
No,
because if you are truly saying that appreciative in the Quran, when it says Allah is appreciative, is equal to happiness for human beings, then there you go. He's not saying that.
Right.
So hold on one second. Let me finish. Let me
how
finish.
I describe
Let me
it to you. I
finish.
can't
Let me finish. Let me
describe
finish.
it to
Let
you.
me
I don't know.
finish. Let me finish.
Sorry.
Because you're tying yourself in knots because your Quran ties you in knots. The Quran states on one hand, Allah is not like anything He has created.
I agree with that.
But then it uses statements that imply certain meanings within created
So
sense.
you
Let
want
me
God to
finish.
speak to
Let
us
me
in
finish.
words that we
Let
do
me
not know.
finish. Let me finish.
Right.
Let me finish. And that is why you're in a bind. Because you said that it's happiness. So if by happiness you mean what I experience as happiness, then that means Allah is like His creation. But you'll say, no, that's not true. So now we're back to, well, what does happiness mean? We haven't actually solved the problem.
explain it?
We've just swapped one word out for another word. Now you said something about the Bible, right? You said something about the Bible. I've already, now the thing is, as a Christian, I believe that the Bible was written by men inspired by the Spirit of God.
So your thing is made
So
out of-
your Quran,
man-made
which is
word.
supposedly the literal word of God,
Yeah.
is now no better than man's written
I
words.
understand.
No better than man's written
I
words.
can explain, please.
Right? The scriptures are clear. There is no shadow of changing in God. That means
Shadow
that
of
He,
changing.
no shadow of changing in God.
Wow.
That's what it means.
Right.
Now,
So
what does that
one
mean?
day all the security
What does
people,
that
the
mean?
other day
What
you
does
had-
that mean? No shadow of changing. It means that God is not moved. He does not move from a state of non-appreciation to appreciation.
So what happened with Jesus?
But,
He came down as a man so that he moved in his
in your
appreciation.
Quran, there is
Come on,
appreciation.
Bob.
So
Come on.
Allah has
You're contradicting
transitioned.
yourself. You're
Allah
tying
has
yourself in knots.
changed.
Come on. Right.
So, right, do you
You
want
just
to
said something.
try to reply? And please
just
don't
said something.
complain when I interrupt you, because
Sure.
you've been interrupting
I
me
agree.
constantly.
Sure. I'm fine.
Great,
You won't
good.
interrupt me?
You
Cool.
won't complain when I
Perfect.
interrupt you.
I won't.
Great, okay.
Right. Jesus, you said now that God doesn't change His moods.
Yeah, He
Yes or
took
no?
on a humanity.
Perfect.
There you go.
So God changed. Yes or no? He
No,
changed His mood.
no, because the
Yes, he did.
doctrine of the
Yes, he did.
incarnation, the doctrine of the incarnation says that there is no change of the divinity.
So
He
did-
simply creates
did
a
he change?
humanity and He fills it.
So did He change when
No.
He went from God to Jesus?
No, He didn't.
Oh, so it's
It
still the same.
literally in the
God
council.
stayed the same when He went from God
you know,
to Jesus.
You see, this is the point. When Christ takes onto Himself a humanity, The divinity is not changed into another substance. The divinity is not confused with the humanity. It does not change the humanity, and it does not become some alternate. There is no change.
That makes no sense.
That's what Christians. There is no change.
Which
We
means that
don't.
makes no sense.
No, what it
We're
means is
believing
this.
in a contradiction.
What we're saying is the
saying
divinity
there's no
does not
change from-
become humanity. You're saying the divinity becomes humanity. We're not saying the same statement.
Sure.
Did you get that?
Sure.
Did you hear that?
Sure, yes.
We're not saying
Alright,
the
perfect.
same
Allow me
statement.
to respond now.
Okay.
You're telling me that God went from God to a human form, which sure, he was part God, blah blah blah.
No, I said exactly the opposite of that.
What?
I said
You
the
said-
divinity does not become a human. I didn't say the divinity
So,
becomes a
was
human.
Jesus a God or not?
Right, so let me answer that. Yeah, let me answer that. So what happens at the incarnation, and I noticed that you're running away from the problem in the Quran, but what happens at the incarnation, and then we'll come back to the Quran, is that God creates a humanity over there, right? And then he fills it with himself.
Wow.
The humanity is not the divinity. The divinity doesn't move into a humanity.
So where is
It is simply the person, that instantiation, that I am,
God first.
fills the humanity. Now let's come back to the Quran.
That makes no sense.
No. Let's come back to the Quran.
You've said a
Why are you running
you've
from the
said something
question
that makes no
about the
sense.
mean? What does
You've
happy mean?
said that
You
Jesus-
said, wait. What you said that Allah is happy with us,
Yes, he's pleased with you.
right? What does happy mean?
He's pleased with you.
So what we've done again is we've changed. First we had appreciative, we replaced that with happiness, and now we're replacing happiness with pleased.
You're telling
But
me
you've
to
still
explain
not
that.
told me what
I
it
can't
means.
explain a word
You're like a
without using
transgender
another word.
militant who can't describe what a woman is.
Transgender.
You're like a transgender
Thank
militant
God.
that
Thank
can't
God
describe
our
what
priests-
was. What,
thank God our priests aren't gay.
you don't have priests.
Your laws.
You don't have priests. There's a gay mosque in South Africa.
The equivalent.
And in London.
The equivalent.
You don't have the equivalent. You don't have the
allowed
equivalent.
Gay priests.
And
Imagine.
I'm calling
Gay
every
priests.
Christian to protest
Well
the
done.
synod in
No
November.
one's protesting.
Come to
No one's
London and
protesting.
protest those
No one's
apostate
pro-
bishops
no
and
one's
priests
protesting.
during
So
the
don't
synod.
Speak about chance to us.
No,
Thank you very
no.
much.
Right. So
We're the
let's
last
come back.
person
So let's
to ever
come back
speak
to the question, because here's what you did. I showed you. Wait.
No.
Let's go back, because there's all these people that came late.
You've been
Let me
speaking a
recap
lot, man.
very quickly.
on.
Very quickly.
You just said that thing about Jesus, that
Would you
makes
like
no
to do
sense.
this timed?
No, I don't want to do time.
Right. Well, then the less you interrupt,
go on.
the quicker I'll
I
finish
said
what
I
I'm
wanna be here
saying.
for 5 minutes. I've been here for an hour now.
You haven't been here for an hour,
Yes,
but it
I
is now
have.
close
Go
to an
on.
hour.
No, it is an hour.
It's close to an hour.
Go
It's
on.
45 minutes, 49
Go on,
minutes,
go on.
right?
It's an hour.
Okay, so I showed you a verse in the Quran that said Allah was appreciative. I said, what does that mean? You said that Allah's appreciation is not the same as our appreciation. So I said, okay, so what does it mean to be appreciative? And then you said happiness. And I said, well, what does it mean for Allah to be happy? And then you said pleased. Well, now let me ask you again. Is Allah pleased in the same way that I am? And if not, what does it mean to say Allah is pleased with me? What does it mean to say Allah is
You
pleased?
want Allah to explain something that only He has to you without using our words. That's what you want.
Shall I reply?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm pointing out to you is that your Quran says on one hand that it is pure guidance, clear guidance in clear Arabic, and yet there are words that have no meaning in your Quran because the Quran commits you to the theological principle that Allah is not like His creation. So that means all the words that are used in the Quran that are creative, i.e. we understand them from the terms of creation, are meaningless terms. So you've replaced appreciative with happiness, happiness with pleased. Tell me, what does it mean for Allah to be pleased?
It's kind of crazy to think that a Christian that in his book shows so much examples of God being angry,
Yeah,
from God killing people,
yeah,
God drowning people,
Yeah.
of Him clearly being angry,
yeah.
coming to me and asking me, why is your God angry and have feelings?
Right.
Makes no sense. man.
Shall I square that circle for you now?
Yes, go on.
Right, I'm going to square the circle for
Square
him.
the circle.
Are you all listening? You're all listening?
I love how
Gonna-
he's just like a guy
Gonna-
just in the back.
Where's my hype man? He's like, he's been late. Where you been all day?
Hyping you up, man.
Latino, come on time. Right? So let me square the circle for you.
Ask him, praise him.
The defense, and I know I love this guy, and I hope you feel the love, and I hope you know that I love you. And I'm going to give you a gift, as I always do, every time we have a nice conversation, right? Right? But here's the thing: to defend his Quran, he's appealing to the Bible. So he's putting the Quran on the same level as a man-made book. He's saying, Let me finish. I'm squaring that circle. So to defend his Quran from the problem that I've presented to him, he's now put the Quran and the Bible on the same level. We Christians believe that the Bible is man's words inspired by God. And he's right to point out the Bible does talk about God having emotions in the same way that I'm pointing out in the Quran. But why does it make sense in the Bible? I'll tell you why. Because the Bible teaches that man is made in the image of God.
Amen.
And so there is a touchstone between God and man in the image of God in man. So we can appreciate what does it mean for God to be angry because we know what it means for us to be angry. Muslims don't have that concept. And so they are back to the problem of they've got words in their Quran that describe God as having emotions, but they can't explain what the words mean, so therefore the words are meaningless words.
So Bob here is criticizing me, comparing the Quran to the Bible, while over here, every single day when he's arguing with Muslims, when a Muslim comes, tells him a verse about the Bible, what does he do? He brings a verse from the Quran. He's one of the biggest hypocrites of Bob, come on. You know this very well. And secondly, the reason I'm doing it is because I can show his hypocrisy. He says it's not fine with our side, but when it happens with the Bible, oh no, it's fine. But with you guys, no, it's not. Come on, man.
Can I reply to that?
Yes, please.
Right, so let me just demonstrate why it's not hypocrisy. Because I believe that the Quran is all man's words.
Oh, you do believe that?
The Quran is not from God, it's from men. So for me to compare man's words to man's words is fine.
Oh, so you
but
do
what he did is he, to defend his Quran, compared it not only to men's words, but to words that he believes were corrupt words. So he's, to defend his Quran, comparing it to a book that he says is men's corrupt words. And he's using the Bible to try and defend the Quran, but he has never addressed the original argument. Let's be clear about what that argument is. The Quran claims to be clear Arabic, clear guidance that explains everything. The Quran says that Allah is not like anything in his creation. But the Quran says that Allah is appreciative. Appreciation is a characteristic of the created being. I am appreciative to God. I thank God for what he does for me. What the hell does it mean for God to be appreciative to me? Whoa. Right, so I ask him, what does appreciation mean? And he says, is it like me being appreciative? He has to say no. Why? Because he believes that Allah is not like his creation. So he just replaces one word with another. Now it's happiness. But is Allah happy in the way that I'm happy? No. So therefore, what does happiness mean? What does happiness mean?
So Bob has clearly admitted now that the Bible is man's words. He's just said it.
That's what we believe.
It's man's words.
Inspired by the Spirit of God.
No, you didn't say that.
That's
you
what
said,
we believe.
I am comparing
I am
man's words
correcting myself
to man's
now.
words.
Man's words inspired by the Spirit of God.
No, allow me to
That's
speak.
what we
Bob.
believe.
He's basically admitted that his
I thought
Bible
you weren't going to
is
complain if I
man-made.
interrupt you.
It's fine. I don't mind. Interrupt
just
me. I don't
pointed
mind.
out,
I don't mind. Cool. He's admitted that the Bible is man's words. Literally admits it right here.
Not ashamed.
Man's words.
Not ashamed.
Not God's words.
It's all right. We're not
It's
ashamed of
not
it.
God's words. Yeah, he's ashamed. Right?
We're not
He's like,
ashamed or
nah.
embarrassed
Sure.
by this.
Congratulations,
Sure,
you
man.
found out something new
Sure.
about
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. So everyone here now can know that the Bible is man's words. It is not God's words. It is a man's. Yes or no, Bob?
Okay. So
No. A yes or no answer.
No. I'm not
You
going
can do
to.
the same thing with me.
Okay, I'm not. I just want to answer them.
Right, perfect. So it's man's words. The Bible is man's words. Secondly, he's saying right now,
use the
I'm.
same,
He's
full
interrupting.
term.
Tell
Man's words
your
inspired by
wingman to
Spirit.
be quiet,
That's
please.
what I said. Yes.
Yeah.
Tell the wing. No, we didn't say that.
Thank you.
It's on camera. It's on
Did you get
camera.
my gift that I sent to you?
Tell your wingman to be quiet,
so
please.
much.
You need to tell your wingman to be
I
quiet.
didn't get
Thank you
my
It's
very
all
much.
right, Uncle.
Thank you.
I've got him. He's just
Thank
digging
you.
himself
Yeah,
a ditch.
wingman.
Let him dig.
All right,
Let him
wingman.
dig.
Thank you, wingman.
Let
I
him
appreciate
dig.
it. Thanks,
Go
wingman.
on.
Right.
Thank
So,
you.
the reason I'm comparing it to the Bible is because I can show his hypocrisy. You cannot come here and be like, God has no emotions when there is emotions in the Bible. That is my entire point. And as I've already said, God is appreciative. When God appreciates you, his appreciation is not like ours. Same thing as God, same thing as you. Your Bible, is God's happiness or anger in the Bible the same as ours? No, he's God. His anger isn't the same thing. Therefore, you need to explain that in the first place, right?
Okay.
Because you make no sense, man.
So
And he's admitted
so let me reply.
the Bible is
So let
man's
me
words.
reply. So he said, and I'm glad that he admits that he is comparing God's words to man's words. But what I'm comparing, as far as I'm concerned, is man's words to man's words, because the Quran isn't written from, it's not from God. It was written by men. Let me finish. So the fact of the matter is that there is a contradiction within the Islamic deen. You cannot on one side say that Allah is not like anything in his creation and then tell me that the word Allah is appreciative has real meaning. Because anything that you can think or imagine the word appreciative to communicate is not what it means when it says Allah is appreciative. So in other words, we now have this word, this sound. It sounds like our word appreciative, but it's a meaningless sound because it doesn't communicate anything that you can intelligibly understand. That is the distinction between a word and a sound. If a tree falls off a branch, if a branch falls off a tree, let's get it the right way around. If a branch falls off a tree, it makes a sound, but it does not communicate anything intelligible. Why? Because it's a noise. But if I make a noise like blah, 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 that's an unintelligible noise because I haven't communicated anything to you. But I'm finishing. But the Quran has these terms like Allah is appreciative. But then when you ask a Muslim what does it mean for Allah to be appreciative, they can't tell you what it means. But what they can tell you is it's not what you think and it's not what you imagine it to be. So if it's not what you think it to be and it's not what you imagine it to be, then that means it's just a noise like blah, 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 blah. And that means the Quran is just a load of nonsense, guys. So blah, 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 blah. Right, go on, respond to that.
Allow him to speak. Go on.
Also, the Quran says it's the words of a noble messenger. You showed last week,
Yeah.
Quran 69, it claims it's the words of a noble messenger. Who's it the words of? God or a noble messenger?
It's called, so is the Old Testament, right? Whose words is that?
Okay, fine.
There we go. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Bro, let's finish.
Come on, man.
on.
Perfect. Right, I had so much stuff in my mind, but you just kept on speaking, man. No, wait.
You got to practice, bro.
1 second. I know, bro. I don't debate that often, innit? 1 second. You were speaking. Bro. I had it right in my mind.
We got him.
No.
We got him. He's on the ropes right now. He's on the ropes.
You're gonna put that on the first part of it.
Yeah, you should put that in there. You should put that in the beginning.
I know he's gonna do.
He's on the ropes.
I know
It's going to appear at the beginning.
So his point is that he wants God to explain what God is in human terms. However, we know that God is something we cannot comprehend in the first place. How do you expect him to explain it in human terms for us to comprehend? Yet he is a being, sorry, not a being, he is something that we cannot comprehend in the first place.
Can I reply to that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Did you all hear what he just said? You expect God to explain it to you in human terms, thus implying that we shouldn't expect that. But isn't that exactly what the Quran's doing? Isn't it exactly what the Quran's doing when it says Allah is appreciative? Allah is explaining in human terms something about him. Let me explain why Christianity is better. Because the Christian faith does have descriptions of God that speak of emotions. You know, it says that God rises like a drunken man out of sleep, that he wakes up like a roaring lion. Yeah, that's in the Bible. Now, right, let me finish. Now notice how he wanted to jump immediately to the most literal translation, the most literal interpretation, whilst not allowing the same thing about the Quran. Right? But here's the thing. Because of the doctrine that we are made in the image of God, it means that when men inspired by the Spirit of God write that God is angry, it isn't a description of God that captures God in his essence, because Christians believe that God is unknowable, but it captures something of God's energy, God's activity in the world from a human perspective. Because we are made in the image of God, we can understand what that means. So when it says that God is angry, it allows us to know something about what God is doing in the world. But because Muslims say that God's anger is not like our anger and nothing like what you can think or imagine, then what the hell does it mean to say that Allah is angry? It means nothing.
What we know we can sort of deduce in a way.
Are we in the image of God?
Who?
We, us, human beings.
As in
Me and you.
Islamically,
Are we made in the image of God?
In Islamically.
I know what the answer is Islamically,
No.
but yes, answer from an Islamic perspective.
No.
No. Right, so what is the reference point that makes this word about some transcendent other that sits in a plane beyond all imagination and description?
So you want God
what
to say himself.
what makes that word over there meaningful in the created plane of created things? Where's the touch point? How do these two things meet philosophically?
Can God describe himself to you? If he came down now, would he be able?
Shall I answer as a Christian?
Yes.
Right. As a Christian, God has and does explain himself to us through the words of men because we are made in the image of God.
That isn't the question. I said, if God can come down now and explain himself to you, how he looks, will he be able?
How he looks.
How he looks.
How he looks.
What's his form? How he look? No.
No, he does.
Thank you.
Yes,
Why?
no, actually,
Why?
he does. Yes. Hold on one second.
So he tells you.
Yes, I'm going to. I'm going to address that point
Cool.
because the other touchstone, which I forgot to mention, the other touchstone is the incarnation itself. Because at the incarnation, when humanity expresses it,
Jesus.
let me finish.
That's just Jesus.
Let me finish.
Not the Father.
Let me finish. Let me finish. That at the incarnation, at the incarnation, when Christ, when God creates a humanity and fills it with himself, he is the full expression of divinity in human form, which is why Jesus says, "He who has seen me has seen the Father."
Wow.
So yes,
that's why
and
he
therefore,
bows to the Father.
when we witness emotions expressed in Christ as a human being, we see a representation of the character of God.
the Holy Spirit.
That's
Why is
part.
that?
That it's a full expression.
No, Jesus. You just said, "Who has seen me has seen the Father." Not the, no. He did not say God.
Well, and the thought. Yeah, okay. So I'll address that point as well, because I notice you have no answer to my argument, and you want to get off the topic as quickly as possible.
Just one thing. I've already told you your answer. We're gonna keep on
Your
going
answer
if I
is.
answer it.
Your answer is.
God is appreciative isn't the same as us. That is it.
Right, but what then does
He's
appreciative mean?
We don't know because he is
There
God.
you go. We
He is
don't know.
Yes, it's something
And if
because
it's-
it's something we cannot more
So
like
nothing
their
has been
God that comes as
communicated
a
then?
man, not them, not
So
as like
nothing
your
has
God
been
when he comes down as a
communicated
man. Right, God is it's something we do not know. It's too far
Okay.
high from us for us to know anything.
Tell me.
Therefore, when he says appreciative,
Yeah.
it's from what we know we can interpret.
Tell me.
From what we can deduce and interpret. That's it.
Okay, so
We cannot know his true form and how he's appreciative, how he's happy.
So
how he's
Allah has
angry.
not communicated anything.
Yes.
He's just given you
I've
this
already
word
said
and then
it's
says
from
you
what
you
we
put
know.
your own
It's from what
interpretation
we
into
know.
the word.
It's from what we know.
Wait. So to be clear, what you're saying is Allah gives you a word,
Yes.
right? Like let me just like Ave. Do you know what Ave means? Yeah. So I've just given you a word, right? What does Ave mean? Right. So
Wait, is an
I'm going to
Arabic
show
word.
I'm going to show you what you're essentially describing.
Is this a Latin word or?
It's a Latin word, right? So I give you the word Ave, and then you make up your own meaning to that word. So just make up
No,
a meaning of the word Ave.
I won the debate.
I won the debate. So Ave means he won the debate, right? But the point is your perfume, bro. So it's the point is what he said is that Allah gives us these words. We don't know what they mean, but
No,
it's what
we do know what appreciative means.
We do. So tell me, what does it mean for Allah to be
Not
appreciative?
in his case, we know what
There you go then. So we're back
we
to
know
the
what-
problem.
We know what the word itself
You're
means.
sunk, bro.
No, I'm not.
You're
You
sunk,
know
bro.
I'm not, Bob.
You're
Because
sunk,
it's
bro.
in your own book.
I'm starting to
Your
feel
God-
bad
No,
that
no,
I'm
no.
beating you so
Your
badly.
your God has the same exact things.
Right.
He is angry. He is happy. All of this stuff in his Bible.
Now you have
You
been
know
here
this.
more than 5 minutes.
5 minutes,
You've
an
been
hour.
more than here, more
Yeah,
than
of course.
5 minutes. You've
Yeah,
definitely
that's
been over
cool.
here an hour.
Thank you very much.
Do you want to keep going?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's up to you. I'm happy to keep going.
All right. My point, I'll just probably end it at this. And then
All right. Final comments.
My
then.
point.
Final comments.
I'm
Final
not
comments. So
final
make them
comments.
good.
Perfect.
Because you've got a lot to recover from.
Right. His point is that God cannot be happy. God cannot be sad according. Even though in his book, all of this is the case. God is angry when he sunk all those people in Noah's Ark. God is angry when he ordered to slaughter the Amalekites and their children and their donkeys, which is crazy. But it's fine. God is angry upon all of these. God is happy when he admits people into paradise. All of this, God has emotions. However, even he would say that his emotions isn't the same as ours. Yes or no? Just a yes or no answer. Is God's emotions the same as ours? All right, just answer. Go on, answer.
Okay.
Here's your time. Don't go on a lecture, please.
No. These are final comments.
Thank
So
you.
finish your final comments.
Oh, it's long, man. Right.
You can do it. Go on. Go on.
Minister
We'll
Sean.
clap you to the finish.
Weird.
As you
Right.
stagger over the line.
Wow. Thank you, man. Right. So in his own Bible, all of this, God has emotions. God has emotions in all of it. Yeah, when it comes to the Quran, he's like, no, God can't have this, blah, blah, blah. It's contradictory completely. And then he comes to me for comparing it to the Bible when that's all he does. When a Muslim man comes to him and asks him about a biblical verse, straight away he goes back to the Quran to compare it. He does it all the time. Yeah, when I do it, it's bad. So you guys can clearly see the hypocrisy anyways. Secondly, when it comes to the actual arguments, for the actual argument, God is not like us. We do not believe God is like us. He is never like us. He is a higher power than all of us. Therefore, his happy isn't like our happiness. His anger isn't like our anger. And his appreciativeness isn't like our ones. That is how God is. Our God does not come as a man. He is not us. He is a higher power unlike theirs, which even though it makes no sense, because before he said Jesus is God, but his godliness doesn't enter into him, but he's also God. It makes no sense. You guys can. And then fourthly, he admits that the Bible is the word of man, not God. So that sort of disputes everything in the first place.
Okay. So in my final comments, you heard him admit the point I've been making all along. That the words appreciative, anger, or any of these descriptive words don't mean anything you can think or imagine when you're talking about Allah. So if they don't think anything you can think or imagine, then whatever you understand by the word appreciative, it isn't that, right? So if it isn't that, then that means the word appreciative, when it's in the Quran about Allah, is the same as a branch of a tree falling off a tree. It's just a noise. Doesn't communicate anything intelligibly. That's the point of words. Words are not sounds, they are communications, or communications of intelligible concepts. And so therefore what we see is that the Quran is full of gibberish sounds. They sound like our words, but they're not words because they don't communicate anything intelligibly. Now what about the fact that we've got these things in the Bible? The words like God's appreciation or God's love or God's anger in the Bible are descriptions of God's activity in creation. They are energies in creation. They are what God is doing in creation. They're not descriptions of God's essence. Why do they communicate something intelligibly and meaningfully to us? For two reasons. One, because of the doctrine that we are made in the image of God. And two, because of the incarnation. Which means that when Christ became sad and he wept at Lazarus being in the tomb, we get an image of what it means for God to do something in creation with things that are against his will. When we see that God becomes angry, because we become angry, we understand that that is saying something about what God is doing when he punishes those things that are against his will. In other words, they are communicating intelligibly. Now, the fact of the matter is we Christians are without shame say that the words of the Bible are the words of men inspired by the Spirit of God. Notice he left that last bit off every single time. You notice that? Because the Dawagandist only wants to hear what they want to hear. They don't do intelligent conversation. I am arguing from an Islamic position to point out the problems of the Islamic position. He can't even argue from a Christian position to argue problems with a Christian position because he hasn't taken the time to understand it. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, since the Quran is riddled with self-evident contradiction, it is a false teacher. The Christian faith does not have the same problem, and you've seen that demonstrated in the debate. And that's why you need to pick up a Bible. You need to not listen to the Dawagandists active in the park lying about Christianity, and you need to speak to intelligent, knowledgeable Christians about the Christian faith. Any questions to either of us?